Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a 1v1 on Sky Isle between Blackmelon and Randy, otherwise known as Randy. The legend that is Randy, playing here in blue as the Cortex player in the most southern position on the map. Now, we haven't seen this map before, so let me give you a bit of a brief overview. This is the starting position for Randy here. You could spawn in slightly different position, which is this one just down to the side here, but the one that he's chosen is the more advantageous position. This map is basically made up of two lanes in essence. As we go down on this right hand side, there is technically 3 lanes then. There is a high ground area up there with lots of crystals and metal points and a small choke point that leads towards the center. There are ramps on either side, making it easy for both players to get up. As you can see, the terrain is quite all over the place, so it's not as flat and easy for vehicles. Now, as we move just down here, this is the other part of the path where you come to the side. See plenty of metal points and such, lots of crystal. Now, one of the big things to note is that on either side of the map, we have these islands that are completely separate from the rest of the map. It has several metal points on, and these, once you get control of them, it's going to be hard to contest them and get forces on there to deal with them. Now, as we zoom across, you can see here the other opponent, Blackmelon here, playing Cortex as well in the exact same start position. Resbot's already out here to get some early crystal, and that is pretty much the map. As we zoom out for a bit of a wider view, you can see it's a bit of an interesting map. The islands will be difficult to control, but once you get control of them, it should be pretty hard for your opponent to break into them. And with plenty of metal on the map, it's going to be pretty high-tech game, I would say. The high ground with the high aerial balls that we see here will make it difficult for your opponent to push in, considering it's just like this one long choke point. You would have to end up pushing round all the way to here in order to get up and try and push over to the high ground here. But if your opponent does manage to take this high ground right here outside the base, you can pretty much guarantee you are going to lose your entire base. Well, with that out of the way, let's move over to the main camera and get on with the rest of the cast. So, oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. So here we are. For some reason, our camera is rotated again. There we go. Both players are not really doing too much at this point in time. They've got some early grunts out for harass. Both players are Cortex, so bear in mind we're going to see a lot of mirror matchups when it comes to unit choices here. Both players also choosing to go bots. This is due to, like we said earlier on, the terrain differences all over the place would be relatively difficult for vehicles to path on. And now I've forgotten what button it is. Get rid of that. There we go. Neither player rushing air just yet to get those side areas. It is a calculated risk. You go to get these side areas first. You lose control of the main ground, and obviously you don't want to lose that. Randy may be losing a constructor here. He did try and just build blueprints here in order to try and block the grunt, and it does manage to provide enough time for his grunts to arrive. Now, the metal extractors on this high ground that we were talking about earlier on are not anywhere more valuable than the ones below. So, it doesn't really matter where you go here, just that you go somewhere. Now, Randy has decided to walk along the bottom edge, at the moment at least, to secure this kind of front position, and then looks like he's going up the top. Meanwhile, Blackmelon is deciding to push along right into the center. He's bypassed any of the metal extractors first, with the intention of at least securing this central passageway first before moving back to cap those. Now, he could have decided to instead keep walking and try to provide a bit more of a distance ahead. This would give his units more avenues to push from. Because if you push up to here with units, but you don't control this high ground, you're going to run into problems, because as you try and push further forward, the opponent units are going to be able to shell you from above, which if you get some Sheldons or something up there, it's going to pretty much block off this whole path. So pretty important to have control of the high ground. If you don't, you are going to run into problems with pretty much doing anything. Saying that though, there is a lot of, I'd say, water. This is a very weird coloured water. There is a lot of empty space on the side of the map. So if you are able to get air around there, especially if you control one of the sides, you may be able to get a substantial bombing run done to your opponent's base before they even realize it. We can see there is a radar here which is covering quite a good view, but still there's not really much air defense you can build over here in order to stop that. Now Blackmelon is now starting to push up with his commander, as we were talking about earlier on. Randy obviously getting to this hill quite late, has not blocked anything off, but Blackmelon does lose out on a trade down here with his grunts. Quite a lot of wreckage to be gotten there. 275, which is a lot in the early days when a grunt only costs 40. Continuing to push though, Randy, forcing Blackmelon right back to his defenses here. Obviously, we see Blackmelon's got a constructor here ready to go. He wants to claim these triple mechs here, but Randy just keeping his forces there, stopping Blackmelon pushing up. A double LLT, even triple LLT here, will stop Randy's commander walking any further, but it doesn't contest this hill whatsoever. It is still open to pretty much anyone who wants to go. Kind of wondering that maybe Blackmelon is investing too much on LLTs there. The other lane is pretty much empty. Blackmelon with a couple of grunts over that side. Randy has switched out to thugs though. And as we switch over back to Blackmelon, Blackmelon is still grunts only. Economy though split very closely right now. Blackmelon's comm very close to Randy's here. Physically see him, but does not want to do anything here. To be fair, if he did walk up, try and degun that LLT, there's enough grunt here, they'd be able to take out Blackmelon very, very quickly. But these LLTs hit up here by Blackmelon do make this path also difficult for Randy to use. So pretty much this now is a no-go for either player, this hill. Which does mean Randy doesn't really have a evacuation plan from there. But this position does give Randy now an ability to push forward with his commander. And Blackmelon, to be able to do anything here, has to walk a very long way back. It does look like he's prioritizing dealing with this bug push. He will maybe lose a constructor here if these bugs continue their walk. Now this is slightly an older game than we've seen last week. I had a problem with the replay, so I had to kind of delay it before I could show it to you. So you'll see that the fog model is actually the old fog model. But it was a really good replay from what I saw, so I wanted to show it to you guys, even if it was a little bit older than the rest. And Blackmelon is forced very heavily onto the defensive here. Shurikens, though, have made an appearance for Blackmelon. Randy does have a air lab, but hasn't used it just yet. Shurikens on the way in. Fighters will have to be built now. They can already see they're starting to get built. Question is how much value are the Shurikens going to get before the fighters start to make their push? Not enough Shurikens, maybe? There are quite a lot of things EMP'd, but the fighter is on its way across. Commander is here to make this a bit quicker. And that is a big bug army destroyed just due to Shurikens. Blackmelon knows he doesn't have much longer to deal with them, deciding to degun some of this stuff instead, just to stop it being able to survive. Commander able to take out the fighters as they flew by, and now 820 metal up on this north side. That's a lot of metal to just be laying down on the floor. Because of this, Randy knows he needs to make a bit of a push. He is trying to make an impact on this left-hand side here, but there are so many LLTs as well as twin guards. Randy's commander will not be able to make a push on his own here. He needs something a bit longer range, and I think he's realized that. Now, both players on their respective islands now. Blackmelon with a land constructor. This may work out better for him due to the fact that he won't have a fighter just fly over and take out the aircon. Makes it a little bit difficult to test that. Whereas Randy has decided to use an air constructor. Bear in mind, this will make it easier for him to spread out quicker due to the air speed of the constructor, but you still run into problems with fighters flying over. See Blackmelon queuing up a lot on this island. Both players actually taking this time to start building on the islands instead, building up their economy. We see a vehicle lab now coming out from Randy here with brutes and a couple of wolverines queued up. Now, one thing of note here is that there's so little room to build your actual base. We are going to see pathing issues. The tanks at the moment are maybe going to go like this to get round, or they're going to go up this ramp. This wolverine specifically looks like it's going to go up the ramp here to deal with all of the LLTs in the center. But the rest of the tank might not. Metal-wise, though, Randy saving up quite a bit. Maybe we're going to see him transition to Tech 2, perhaps. Oh, a single grunt dropped on the southern island. And that would be enough to stop this construction bot and stop Blackmelon's building on here. Maybe should have built an LLT straight away. Built the defenses first, then built the metal extractors. But this one grunt able to completely remove Blackmelon from this bottom island. Meanwhile, on the top island, neither player with any form of combat units there just yet. Blackmelon learning from his mistake now, though, getting an LLT built up to defend. Blackmelon does have vision. He knows there's something on there. Guessing that it's a air constructor here, he does actually go in with his fighters, which will take out that air constructor, leaving the rest of this northern island now for Blackmelon to control. Wolverines are going to take out these LLTs relatively quickly here. But Blackmelon does have some defense in depth, as well as radar in depth here, so even if he does lose those positions, it's not going to be too much of a deal. Oh, and a Fug Fin dropped by Blackmelon here. Hoping that a single Fug will outplay a Grunt. I'm gonna say, I think the Grunt wins. Randy doing a great job actually, and going around that crystal. A lot of micro here to dodge that Fug shot, and great micro by Randy. That crystal there absorbed 2 of that Fug shots. Very well played micro by Randy there. Meanwhile, we've got a slow push here by Blackmelon. A single rocket bot surrounded by thugs to just slowly push in. Saying that, as soon as I say that, he pushes in. Now, there are a lot of brutes here. Actually, interestingly enough, they can actually path over here fairly well. Problem, they do have issues around those little high ground hills, so tanks not nearly as effective as they would normally be. Meanwhile, neither player transition into Tech 2 at this point. Both players very close in current metal a second. Metal produced, though, as well, is exactly 25k, both players here. And it says 2% difference. It's going to be like maybe 200. If we check here, you'll actually be able to see. Yeah, it's just almost 1,000 metal between the two players. Very, very close, but not quite. Now, Blackmelon, I was about to say, if he goes up like this other spec had said, it's a difficult one. Because if he did go up here, he would lose all of those units, but he would get some damage. I don't think that would necessarily be worth it, though, because he would lose the entire army. Air transported bugs, though. Interesting placement. Bugs do manage to get the 2 mail extractors and the air defense, but the tanks up here will deal with these very quickly. And Blackmelon just deciding to self-D to deny the reclaim. A user commenting on the amount of fighters. Which makes it a bit difficult to actually gauge that. Let's do that. 47 fighters for Randy at this point. 3,400 metals worth of fighters. Whereas we see 1,299 metals worth of fighters for Blackmelon. That's 2k's worth of metal, and that 2k has been invested by Blackmelon into Tech 2. Saying that though, Randy also with Tech 2 at this point. Randy is ahead by about 1k metal though, so he's only spent an extra 1k of metal on some other things. It does look like Blackmelon may have had it a little bit sooner than Randy. And the Sheldons are already coming out now. It's going to cause Randy some problems on this front line here. Sheldons, radar, and jammers already starting to make their move here. Realistically though, all of these tanks by Randy, although they're defending, they haven't really made an impact at all. As well as these tanks here in the center, they're just purely there for defensive posturing. Blackmelon is the first one to start making a push. Randy, with all his fighters, obviously doesn't want the same mistake that happened earlier on with the Shuriken. So I can understand why he may have invested in more than he was planning on. Also, all it takes is like a Tech 1 bombing run to make a huge impact to your economy. So Sheldon's doing a good job though so far. Randy, with nothing really to counter that, has decided very smartly here to just pull back his forces. He doesn't need to push these forces in right now. He's got his own Tech 2. Tech 2 is coming up. He has time. Now, he has time, he has space. Yes, he'll lose a couple of metal extractors. They were only Tech 1. It's not the end of the world. Closer his opponent is to his base, the easier it will be for him to defend and get units out to deal with it. Blackmelon has separated his forces a little bit with thugs in the front, Sheldons in the back. A good move there. By separating his forces, he's using the thugs to kind of shield. There are some trashers here in order to deal with any shurikens that come across. Would maybe argue there's not quite enough. We missed a spy bot blowing up there, and that EMP'd a lot of those thugs. And these tanks, you can see, just making very short work of the defenses on this side here to the right. And now we see a bit of a problem for Blackmelon. He's pushed up this far, but really doesn't have a way of dealing with a lot of this stuff on the high ground. Now, if he had pushed the Sheldons instead along the top and made a hole up here, he could have then impacted either side. But unfortunately, that is not what Blackmelon did. Thinking that he can push the Sheldons up the hill into tank, into LLTs, not working out for him. The EMP bot was ready. And here come the grunts and pawns rushing him down. No, he decides to turn around. He's waiting for the EMP. EMP does go off, gets the majority of that bug army. And the Fiends will make very, very short work. Self-D on the Fiends by Blackmelon takes out the majority of Randy's army, though. Question is, will they still be able to close range on what's left? Self-destruct by Randy here actually also takes out most of the bugs of Blackmelon. Both players pretty much killed each other. I would say that Blackmelon maybe came out advantage here. He still kept his entire Sheldon ball, but now with nothing really to field for him, he needs some more units there to act as a buffer. Now, one thing of note is what we're about to see here is this radar being built on the island here gives tremendous vision for Randy. So much he can see of this part here. Also, if you build another one up here, you'll be able to see like over here, and that's very, very useful information. And it's not something that Blackmelon's going to be able to deal with very effectively. I mean, he could move the Sheldon right to the edge, and then it'll be out of reach. But I don't think Blackmelon even. Oh, he does know it's there. Doesn't see it as a threat. Now, if an artillery piece gets positioned up here, that's what we're drawing, up here, that does cause problems for Blackmelon's push here. But Blackmelon being very strong, pushed it very far forward. Spybot's still doing a great job for Randy, though. If he can get another EMP right now with all of this, the Fiends may be a bit too far away. Ooh, Randy losing an opportunity there. Tech 2 defense is being built on the high ground. And it kind of looks to me that Blackmelon doesn't really know what to do. He's being very smart in that he doesn't want to move too far past this part. EMP does go off, and Randy decides to make a move. There's a lot more Fiends this time. EMP wears off before the Fiends are able to make their move. They still will manage to get a few bugs, maybe. No, unable to really accomplish anything, get a single trasher. On the north side, which we haven't looked at for quite some time, it's been very stale up there. Some sumos now positioned, but Tech 1 walls not really going to be enough to make an impact. But again, Blackmelon doesn't want to push too far forward due to this high ground he still does not have control over. Surprisingly enough, though, he's deciding to push the other low ground here with these sumos and attempt to try and force some of the forces over there instead. Surprisingly, he's attacking the walls here. He could just walk straight through them with the sumos. Or any of the Tech 2 can just walk through these walls. Doing it so his other units can get through. Wait, not able to walk through the walls? Okay, I thought that they would be able to move. I swear Tech 2 can just trample any Tech 1 wall. Maybe I'm wrong. It is good to see walls being used more by players. It was one of those things that they were pretty much like completely useless for quite a long time, but now starting to be used more and more. Blackmelon, though, may be about to lose his entire army. EMPs go off, grabbing a significant chunk of Fiends, and another Spybot manages to get round the back. It will get all of the Sheldons, and that is a huge EMP, taking out pretty much the entirety of Blackmelon's army here. That is a huge loss. He does manage to keep a few of the Sheldons alive, but that is really bad. Meanwhile, Blackmelon, though, on this northern side, or also right side, has managed to get pretty deep into Randy's base. But there are plenty of mammoths and sumos here now that do stop the push. But that was very, very close. It has, however, left almost, well, 3.7k metal just right outside Randy's base. Most of that is probably in reclaim field of the comm turrets, so not quite as much as he was expecting. Resbot, though, with 4k worth of metal here, but I think most of that's probably going to be up here. Oh, surprisingly not. That's 700 down there. Okay, so most of it is in the low ground, so although Blackmelon did leave quite a bit outside of Randy's base, if he's able to get all of this reclaimed, that will more than make up for it. Tech 2 defenses going up on the high ground. You can see how just this one Scorpion positioned well will do tremendous work. And the Scorpion does get built, taking out the defensive, the Sheldon rather. And that's going to deny quite a bit of the reclaim. 800 metal there. A bit more inside of its range. It's going to be a little bit hard to tell. Oh, actually, no, it's not. 1,500 metal inside of that area where that pop-up turret is. So, quite a lot. Randy now just slowly pushing up with like a few sumos here. Both players have pretty much invested very heavily on the units on this lane here. But nothing too much on this side to the right. Why? I don't know. They've just kind of both decided, we're going to leave it. And Blackmelon building fences. Again, I'm surprised he's building that down here and not up here like Randy has. He does have another con here, so maybe he plans to. Because that way it will help defend against stuff coming up the hill, stuff going along, and stuff coming round by being built there. But instead he's built it down in that low ground. Bear in mind, these are technically, I don't know if they're classed as plasma, because if they do, they get a height advantage being up there. Now let's have a look at what both players are doing right now. So Blackmelon already has an anti-nuke up, which is probably quite important. He has a few gunships ready to go. We're talking about 14 Tech 2 gunships. He has 2 fusions. No, that's not true. He has almost 5 fusions. And is currently ahead when it comes to energy produced. Build power, he's just significantly ahead. Metal produced is, I'd say decently ahead at this point. We're talking about 6k metal produced. That's quite a big difference. Army value, though, is advantage Randy. And as we look over at Randy's base, see Randy with only 2 fusions. He is 3 fusions behind, though, at this point. But the biggest difference here, rather than going Tech 2 air, Randy has stayed on Tech 1 air this entire time and is now going straight to Tech 3. Now, this could be a make or break play here. A lot could be had just from this if he manages to break through. Mammoths not able to push through the defenses just yet. Butcher gets destroyed. Oh no, Butcher does not get destroyed. Wow. That Scorpion just completely missing its opportunity to get some build power there. Neither team has really decided to try and make a play for the island. We can see that Randy's island is all Tech 2 now as well, which is, you know, quite important. I don't think either player is really going to make a play on this side. Blackmelon has invested quite a lot in defenses. Sumos, sorry, not sumos, they're called mammoths now. Mammoths are very slow. Sumos are also pretty slow. Pretty much just using them there for defensive purposes. We do see, though, some termite coming in from Randy here. Very interesting unit choice. It's going to be impossible for Blackmelon to effectively stop these. And they do manage a breakthrough. Surprisingly, though, Randy does go in on this. With plenty of mammoths and pop-ups, this army surely is just going to get completely destroyed. The gunships, though, did manage to deal with the termites. I know we didn't see on the screen. The termites did get destroyed. And Shuriken's also showing up now. Quite a bit of friendly fire dealt by those gunships. And surprisingly, all the defenses were taking out. There is still one Tech 2 Khan and some Twitchers there. The 2 mammoths will be enough to hold for now as these guys make their way across. But the biggest thing here, which is difficult to see, Kraganafs were the Tech 3 unit of choice for Randy, but just look how quickly that thing is getting destroyed by these gunships. And Randy may need a better plan. Leaving how much metal? 1,500 metal on that hillside there. It's going to be difficult for him to get that replaying, bear in mind. But neither player deciding to go for any sort of spam right now. I'm interested to see what each player can see. So this is Randy's view right now. He has good radar vision around here. There does seem to be a bit of a blind spot or a radar jammer, more likely a radar jammer. He's aware of all the build power that's here. He's constantly sending some grunts here. Not really spam, just grunts slowly making their way up. I'm surprised this constructor is just out here on his own building fan extractors. And he knows that the northern island is pretty in control. Blackmelon, on the other hand, doesn't really see too much. He knows there's a lot on this high ground, which is an area that he's pretty much completely avoided. He doesn't know of anything down here. He doesn't actually have much in the way of vision. He actually have a radar bot in there. He has no radar bot in this army whatsoever. That does not help. Oh, but the spy bots do manage to see the Kraganafs as they make their way across. We can see on the minimap Blackmelon here is deciding to go Tech 3 as well. And now this is a bit of a problem for Blackmelon here. I'm not sure how well these fiends are going to do versus Kraganaf. He does have, you know, a lot of gunships, which will do pretty good job versus the Kraganaf, but the question is who has air superiority anymore. Randy does have Tech 2 air finally, which he needs for the fighters, but it could be anyone right now. Blackmelon is trying to position his spybot here to keep an eye on what those Kraganafs are doing. Catapult is chosen by Blackmelon here, which is a interesting choice. It will help do some damage to the stuff on the island, but it won't help these Kraganafs making their way across. The intention is for the gunships yet again. Spybot, not enough. Needs multiple spybots to EMP the Tech 3. And just look how quickly this army gets absolutely devastated by the Kraganafs. And Blackmelon with no real response. He did move the catapult, but a bit too late. Meanwhile, on this side, we can see Randy has his own catapult, which is causing problems for the mammoths. do much against the catapult. This guy will pretty much destroy this, open up a landing opportunity for Randy if he chooses to, that is. It looks like he's focusing on the actual base defenses, which makes sense. Catapult's a bit far forward here. Fiends are rushing in though versus the Krakenafs. Look how quickly they're getting absolutely destroyed. Needless to say that did not work at all. Catapult also not working at all. We do see Blackmelon with his own Krakenafs. Now this might have been a plan for Blackmelon to be able to get them around the back, but I don't think that was his intention. And it's 5-7 for the catapult in defense. I think Randy wins that fight. Strategic bombers also being produced here by Blackmelon just off the corner of the screen there. And another surprising choice actually, we see a Persecutor built by Randy here, with the intention of just slowly whittling down this defensive line and to cause problems over here as well. It's funny because if you had if Blackmelon built something here like the similar sort of thing, he could cause problems to all of this. But no. Both players using their catapults to attack the island at the same time here. Although obviously catapults are cluster, so not really able to do much against single targets. Curious as to if this is actually losing health or not. Yes. Right, that mammoth will slowly die if it keeps getting hit like this. Well, I was saying that, it's gone back up. The inaccuracy of radar dots. In the center though, huge push by Randy. 10 Krakenafs pushing this middle section with more in the background ready to go. Blackmelon happened to move his forces here to try and defend, taking lots of fire from the top. At the same time though, huge air attack by Blackmelon, all of his fighters going in on Randy's base, taking out most of Randy's air power rather. There is a couple of dragons mixed in the mix, and here come the strap bombers. Aiming for the fusions and the build power. Managed to get a decent sized explosion, but not everything. The anti-nuke is still up. 3 fusions still up, but it is going to put a big dent into the production of Randy's Tech 3. Will it be enough for Blackmelon to fight back? Huge spider fight happening in these hills, which is basically going to make it impossible. Blackmelon thinks it's GG, but GG for who? Him or Randy? At this point, it's hard to say. Blackmelon is having to move his commander here with the intent to get a D-gun. He maybe thinks that this Krakenaf push is too much for him to handle. But these demons are doing relatively well here. Looks like Randy is deciding instead to pull back. 20k metal here. Blackmelon's palm very far forward. These demons doing pretty decent work though. And bear in mind, neither player has radar vision here, so can't tell if Blackmelon's deciding to go for these D-guns or not. Double catapult is able to get the res bots. Yeah, Randy deciding to fall back after losing so much of his base. Problem is now he does open up opportunity. Blackmelon could push with air this way and take out even more of his economy. He is weak to air. Randy did lose all of his air. And you can see all of the flak is just positioned here. There is no air cover over this section of his base. There are some flaks on the high ground here and over here, but there is a corridor where the arrow has been drawn. Blackmelon, though, has not really scaled up his economy quite as much, or at least spread it out quite as much. We can see that he's actually got no Tech 2 energy converters anywhere. He's just relying purely on those metal extractors. He does have a lot of energy. He could probably build at least one of those energy converters. He's also stopped scaling his economy completely here. Randy has not, however. You can see him having to rebuild some of the stuff that he did have, and does have some energy converters. He's also actually going for an advanced fusion all the way up here. And to be fair, if he's able to build this, his economy is going to massively outscale Blackmelon. One advanced fusion enough to tip the scales on energy production substantially. Metal produced is quite a huge gap between the two players. And I feel like Blackmelon may be kind of losing out here on what that kind of what that bombing run gave him. The reduction of build power on that Tech 3 and the air for that short period of time would have given him an advantage on production, at least for a bit. But now, Blackmelon's inability to scale up his economy further is making it so that Randy is just running away with the economy of this game. You can just see, look how many Dragonafts he's got here. 30,000 worth of metal stat right here. In essence, this metal difference between the two players is sat here in 12 Tech 3. That's how much of a difference there is between the economy of the two players. It's this many Tech 3 Dragonafts. If that doesn't give you an idea of the scale of the difference, then I don't know what is. Now, these guys are obviously here to heal up as well. A couple of these are pretty low. By bringing them back, it's going to do wonders. But this demon push, though, Blackmelon not with anything really here to stop this. This could be game over. Just being able to run these in and losing all of his fighters at the same time. Oh, the air transport of the commander. This is an all or nothing play for Blackmelon. Cloak. Fusion goes off. Will he get the D-guns? Oh, what a tremendous D-gun by Blackmelon. Managing to get all three demons. And the Dragonafts will deal with the final one. That is some great play by Blackmelon. That would have been game over. Those demons would have just ran rampant throughout his base, but he was able to defend that with some tremendous D-guns. But now we look at Metal a second. Neither player... Oh, I was going to say neither player was reclaiming, but that's a lie. Randy getting quite a bit of reclaim here. And that is a good point. A long-range plasma cannon built on these side bits here would be difficult to defend, but at the same time would do tremendous amount of work. A tac nuke is being built, which I find an interesting choice. I don't quite know what value he's going to really get from that tac nuke. Blackmelon, though, needs to shore up his defenses on this side. Don't quite know what he's planning. He does have res bots here. Looks like he's resing everything. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. An LRPC up on these islands would be incredibly annoying to deal with. The further around the island you went, the easier it would be to be killed, but the more like angled you would have on the enemy base. Still up there, you would have, you know, a line of sight to all of the tech spray. If he is aware of these advanced fusions up here, then yeah. I'm surprised Randy is building these advanced fusions up here. It is pretty exposed, like really far forward. Now we see a Kragenov push by Blackmelon. Neither player choosing to go for anything else. Yeah, they're not targeting that for some reason. Don't not have the right angle of the turn. And instead of pushing straight in, they seem to be kind of moving around the side. I mean, if they know this is here, this will pretty much be the end of Randy. If these go down... How far can they get? This is the question. Has Blackmelon seen it? Meanwhile, at the same time, look, the demons are making a big push. The commander has to run away. Blackmelon in danger. D-gun again. 2 demons managed to take it out. Blackmelon's comm, though. It's taken out by the D-guns just as the Kragenovs were about to make it to the advanced fusion. That was a very, very, very close game.
Battle ended.
Wow. Well played, both players. It was a tremendously close game. Those Kragenovs were going to destroy those fusions, taking out the majority of Randy's economy. That would have been it for Randy, but luckily enough, Demon's able to carry the game for Randy in the end. You can just see how close it was all the way up until this point here, where Randy just scaled up, built that advanced fusion, got those extra metal energy converters, and just kept going, whereas Blackmelon didn't. And that's what lost the game in the end for Blackmelon. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this match. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.